Hi there and welcome to Dinos Vault once again, guys. Today I review the Pulsar 180 DTSi, the UG4 or UG 4.5 model as people choose to call it. This bike holds a very special place in my heart. This is the first bike that I bought with my hard-earned money after getting a glimpse of the Pulsar 180 UG3 at the 2006 Auto Expo. I started saving money and waited for its launch eagerly, which happened later that year in October. I was among the first to own this bike, especially the blue one. The bike served me really well for 6 long years without giving me any headaches whatsoever. There were minor glitches like the fuel gauge and the digital display not working properly, etc. But the bike or the engine in and of itself never let me down. The bike that we see now is the UG4 or UG 4.5, whatever you choose to call it. This was launched in 2009 to take on the RTR 180, which itself is an outstanding motorcycle. Bajaj had to make some technical upgrades to the Pulsar 180 to maintain its lead in the premium segment and take on the RTR 180. The Pulsar 180 really hogged the limelight and became a phenom among the youth with the Pulsar Stunt Mania reality series that was aired on MTV. Even with so many options available today, the Pulsar 180 still offers superb value, great performance, and surprisingly decent mileage for the money it demands. So, with all the nostalgia out of the way, let's get started with the review. Taking a look at the design, though the basic design silhouette remains the same, the 180 borrowed its upscaled looks from the 200, which was phased out unfortunately. The Pulsar 200 was a mighty beast too. I really wish they bring it back to the production line. Design wise, the headlamp with the wool-fired pilot lamps remains the same as that of the UG3. The larger 37mm front forks lend the bike a macho look from up front. Coming to the profile, the muscular styling with its signature tank design is the most prominent design element that hits you first. This is further enhanced with the extending tank cowls, which look nice and sharp. The side panels and rear panels retain the same design as that of the UG3. The bike also gets split seat setup and split grab bars similar to that of the 200 or 220. The tail lamp setup with the two LED strips have become a signature design element of the Pulsar family. The Pulsar 180 also gets black clip-on handlebars and slightly rare set foot pegs to give the rider a sportier stance. Technically speaking, the 180 borrowed the box section swing arm and larger diameter 37mm front forks from the 220, which aids in better handling. The UG3 had tube tires, whereas the UG4 gets tubeless tires with a wider rear tire. The UG4 gets a new rear sprocket with a O-ring chain setup for better performance. The wheelbase too is increased by 25mm for the UG4, so at 1345mm, the bike offers better high speed and straight line stability. The UG4 only gets a self-start option with no kick rod as opposed to the UG3, which had a self-start as well as a kickstarter. The UG4 weighs 2 kgs more at 145 kgs when compared to the UG3. Finally, the power has been upped from 16.5 bhp to 17.02 bhp for the UG4. Even the UG3 had a heel and toe gear shift lever, whereas the UG4 gets just a toe shifter. Now, talking about the instrument cluster, we get an analog tachometer, and the digital display contains the speedometer, the odometer, trip meter, fuel gauge, and a side stand indicator. The backlit switches too look absolutely stunning at night. Talking about the engine specs, we get an air-cooled 4-stroke single-cylinder 178.6cc engine that puts out a maximum power of 17.02 PS at 8,500 RPM and 14.22 Newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM. This comes mated to a 5-speed gearbox. Performance wise, the bike feels a lot more stable at high speeds when compared to the UG3 model. Handling too is better with the box section swing arm and larger diameter front forks. The bike responds well to throttle inputs. The engine is nice and refined. The clutch is slightly harder and the gearbox suffers from not having a heel and toe shifter mechanism. The wider rear tire offers better road grip. The clip-on handlebars and the slightly rear set foot pegs offer a nice and aggressive seating posture. Talking about the brakes, we get a 260mm disc up front and a 130mm drum brake at the rear. Braking is decent enough for a bike in its segment. Talking about the suspension setup, we get telescopic forks with anti-friction bush up front and 5-way adjustable nitrox gas-filled shock absorbers at the rear. The suspension too is slightly stiffer to offer a sportier performance. Talking about the wheels and tires, we get 17-inch wheels with a 90 by 90 front tire and a 120 by 80 rear tire. The tires are tubeless and ground clearance is 165 mm. Fuel tank capacity is 15 liters. There is no official mileage claim for this bike, but I used to get around 50 kmpl from my Pulsar 180 UG3. With the slightly increased weight of this bike, I believe we can expect around 45 to 50 kmpl. Price ex showroom Hyderabad is 76,369. So that's pretty much it. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless, and ride safe.